You don't feel in the position to talk back. By the age of 43, she's got everything you can ask for. Thyroid, arthritis, IBS, anxiety, collapse. If you can't say no, your body will. Your body is screaming in symptoms. The quieter you are, the louder your body gets. And you are placing the point of reference not in your heart, not in your mind, not in yourself, but in others. You're going to play by the rules. So if the rules are, in order for me to survive in the family, I need to be this way or that way, then you're going to do that as a child. You have no choice. Children learn really quickly as to what do they need to become in order to be seen, noticed, listened. So we're going to talk about Fawn response. Even though as a result of your nervous system being under threat, emotionally, psychologically, mentally, in whatever way, you're going to nervous system can't decide, basically. So it's going to go by the mother. What are the requirements of the mother? So if the mother demands politeness, obedience, you're going to go for that. Okay? So she must be really controlling, because Fawn response is all about, again, it's a protective. So you don't feel in the position to talk back. You don't feel in the position to ask questions. And because you've given all the answers. Controlling parents are all about, this is the answer before you even ask the question. So Fawn response is a very particular, it's a particular thing that runs. It's a societal programming. It's a family programming. It's a big, deep thing. And just so you know, if you don't know me, this does not come from bitterness or resentment. I'm happily married. I have a family. I was born into a dysfunctional family, but it didn't make me hate men. My father abandoned me. My mother abandoned me emotionally, whatever the story might be. It is possible. And I work with the nervous system, and this is what I see, that women have been over-serving everyone else without serving themselves. This is probably what I learned when I was training to be a therapist. So there was a huge emphasis on, if you want to serve others, you need to serve yourself first. If you want to look after others, if you want to hold others, you need to be able to be like your cup being full, right? That's the idea of you can't fill someone from the empty cup. So that was the first idea. Prior to that, my husband is someone who doesn't need looking after. So I didn't get myself a project. I was never after that. And so the only person I had to look after, obviously after myself, it was my daughter, which I did with pleasure. She was never a burden to me. She was never a problem to me. She wasn't an easy baby. I didn't sleep for 3 years, I think. But it wasn't an issue for me. So it doesn't come from a place of, oh, you know, I didn't manage to have a family, whatever. It comes from a place of meeting enough women now who are very successful, very competent, very aware, very connected, but somehow they feel their nervous system collapses, it's very confused, it enters different. So the lack of safety, because the nervous system, all it wants safety, okay? And we have the physical safety, unless you live in Gaza. We have the physical safety. We have the sort of financial safety. Again, look at what we have as a society? Why is it that the nervous system collapses and is dysregulated? Why is it that the body is sick? What is it? Right? It's not random. Nothing is random in the field. And what I think is happening is the nervous systems and the body, but the body is the instrument for alchemizing the pain, the generational pain, and the evolution, right? The evolution of human beings is not because we just become enlightened, it's because we process and alchemize enough pain so the pain is not always, so it's no longer the driver. And we can't be moving forward if we don't understand our emotional selves. And this is another thing that it's a big disservice to families, societies, and people individually. It's like emotions are bad. Being emotional is bad. And this is what people are told. Women are told, right? No, don't talk about emotions. Don't talk about emotions. Don't say what you feel because it makes everyone uncomfortable. Even though you are a feeler, like human body is a feeler, you constantly process, the body constantly processes emotions, sensations, like sensory information. It's information. Emotion is information. So if you are being trained to suppress it, it stays in your body. It goes into your tissues. Ta-da! As simple as that. If you want to talk different things for a second, a woman who is unsafe systemically is going to go into fight. This is the control. Or flight, she's going to avoid responsibility, accountability. Freeze, she's just going to become numb. Fawn, a people pleaser, or she's just going to hide. There's no other options. So if you make an individual exhausted psychologically, emotionally, so under threat, if a woman is a target, if a daughter in a family is a target, right, from the mother and from the father, it's on you to do the emotional work. It's on you to do the chores. Like this is what women are being made responsible for, because female body, female psyche can feel and detect things in their environment. So if you have a mother who was depressed, you're going to take the responsibility onto yourself. And you becoming a natural, you holding others. You are managing other people's moods. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, because don't say that because dad is going to be angry. No, we can't say that. Shush. So you've been shushed and silenced. So your emotions have been suppressed. And your nervous system has these choices. Fight. So you're going to fight your way out of it. But these are the women who have masculine energy and are in fight mode. And they are so fucking scared of being vulnerable. Because they've never been met and held, okay, by their father, by their mother. They've been abandoned. Nervous system that goes into survival because it doesn't have a choice. Because if the environment is safe, she can relax and be playful and feminine and all of that crap. For a child to be playful and develop into the strongest self, you need support, network, a reliable adult. But the truth is, mothers have been present sometimes because they were either tired, they had to deal with their own trauma, the fathers were fucking not present or drunk. And female body, who is like an antenna, and you absorb everything, and the body is an instrument, emotional instrument, mental instrument, energetic instrument. How much can you fucking take? Right? So then you go into fight, or you take a flight, you flee. If it's too much, you can't face it, you flee, you avoid, you isolate. You go into freeze, you don't know what to do. You're there in the body, but you disassociate. Like, you're just like, what the fuck? Right? And then Fawn, you people please your way through things, right? So you just become a shadow of yourself, and you're constantly in another person's head, and you think like, what do I do and what do I say? I'm sorry for taking my space. Sorry, yes, of course, honey, I'll do it. Yes, you're going to get up early. You're going to be available for everyone. You're going to really literally carry everyone on your back, right? And this is not only women. Men are like that as well. Or you're going to get depressed if it's too much. Nervous system cannot carry other adults. And some people have had it since childhood. And the society is like, no, yeah, of course, you need to be nice and empathic. What? While never, ever, not a single person supported you. You've never had a time to take for yourself who you are, what are you about, what do you want to do with your life. You end up serving others and you end up doing 7 fucking jobs. Because guess what? This is what society and dysfunctional families, this is what they do. As soon as there is a strong person, they're going to put everything on them. I don't know, like the mothers, right? The generations of mothers, like, I don't know, like, I'm sick, no, I have this thing, and, you know, and then everything is going to be put on the daughter. So the daughter end up thinking about the mother, the father, the siblings, because guess what? She doesn't have a choice but to be strong. And then by the age of 43, she's got everything you can ask for. Thyroid, arthritis, IBS, anxiety, collapse. Because every time, first of all, you can't ask for help. Because guess what? There is no help. Everyone is weak and like everyone is a bigger victim. So you raise to the occasion. You go like, okay, I have to do it on my own. Now there is a new name for it. Fibromyalgia. Arthritis, IBS, fibromyalgia is a new thing. It's fucking your body aches. Your whole body aches. And I'm thinking, like, I'm very light here. I'm really mellow. But let's face it. Domestic violence. If it didn't happen to you, you watched your mother being abused. If it didn't happen to you, you watched your siblings being abused. It's the same thing for your brain. That's trauma. So unless we address the conditioning, the societal conditioning, unless we actually name the thing, stop using one another. And let's start being accountable. Let's start being responsible for ourselves. And stop putting it on other people. Like, if you have 2 hands and 2 legs, get on with it. Stop expecting other people to tell you what to do. Right? Stop expecting being looked after. Right? And for people who end up with exhausted bodies, because pain body, it's called pain body in yoga, but obviously, you know, yoga is too mystic and whatever, right? It's like emotions and pain gets blocked and locked in the body. Unless we understand this as a society, we're getting nowhere. We have not developed one fucking bit when it comes to consciousness. Not one bit. And this is why women are exhausted. And this is why the nervous systems, I work with the nervous system. I was a therapist. I am a therapist. I'm a coach, whatever you want to call me. I can't even work on the mind because the nervous system has reached the capacity. I can't even work with the future because these people are exhausted. Women are exhausted, men are exhausted because you've been piling up things and putting things on the show, society, family, whatever the case may be, to-do lists, performance, and now the regulation is another thing to add on to the list. This is not working. Medication, cocktail of medication, cocktail of supplements. while the abuse, the fucking using other people still in place. Nervous system is not going to move one bit. One single bit. And people are like, why am I anxious? Well, let's have a look at your life. Well, let's have a look at what is your body going through on a daily basis. So this is normally what anxious, fawn people, so people pleasers, go through. They feel an obligation to be looking after, checking in, let me check in. So constantly monitoring other people, but not themselves, right? So this is the self-neglect bit. Constantly thinking about how is the other person feeling, the husband, the children, the friends, and who is having what problems and how to solve them, how to help people, how to rescue people. This is also fight people who want to rescue others, want to create solutions. So I'm talking about renting and hiring your nervous system and your mind space, right? I'm talking about, no, I'm not going to say that. So you basically abandoning yourself. That's the first layer. You don't think about yourself at all. This is the pattern in the society. Unless you are sick and you collapse and you crash, you don't stop. This is women. So if you can't say no, your body will. Your body is screaming in symptoms. The quieter you are, the louder your body gets. And then, there's a plethora of issues. I can't feel joy. I don't like sex. My libido went down. I'm not interested in anything, right? So this is the body shutting down. And then from doctor to doctor, from healer to healer, Reiki, yoga, whatever, and then medication, and this medication, and that medication. It's like, hey, you exist in a system. You don't exist in a vacuum. You exist in the system. And what is that system doing to you? Women cannot rest. That's fight mode. When you rest and when you stop, you feel like there is something wrong. I'm not being productive. I'm lazy. So you feel guilt for resting. Fawn mode, you feel guilt for thinking about yourself. You think thinking about yourself is selfish. And somehow serving everyone else makes you what? Is that a virtue? Even though your nervous system goes, listen, this is unfair. No one is asking you how you're doing. No one is asking you. You don't ask for help because guess what? You're not important. Like, forget about me. You eat after your children. You always think about everyone else first. And this is for the fathers who actually are people pleasers as well, right? So even though I think it's evolutionary speaking, I think it's more men are much better in being very singular and meeting their needs. So we abandon our needs in the service of the family, the nest, the community, whatever. Don't get me wrong. People pleasing, it's like, what do I need to do not to be rejected? So it's a form of, you're not going to like it. It's a form of manipulation. So people in fight mode, they'll be rescuing and fixing and, constantly it's not maybe, it's a different means to the same end. Do not reject me, let me belong. And that was certainly me, yeah? So just if I'm not needed, I'm worthless. That's how I survived, by serving, by looking after my mother's children, by cleaning the house constantly, so I couldn't concentrate on school or focus on things that I would like to be doing. So that was me abandoning myself because I didn't have a choice. So, right? It's a form of people pleasing. It's quite complex. These people are doing this by being helpful. These people, you know, in a sense, you can say that the assumption in flight mode is people are better if I'm not there. Right? So it's like almost like you are fleeing the scene, you're avoiding because you think that's the best solution. Freeze, that's the ADHD thing. It's stop and start, not really doing, not executing, not able to close the loop. But in here, the loop, that's depression and high. In here, the loop is very different, right? I just want to say this. So the mind gets conditioned by the society. The body is all about survival, all about the role you've been given to survive your family. The mind is society. And society actually supports Fawn for women, right? For men, it's all about go and get it, you know, be strong, become this, blah, 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 you know, to make money, blah. But for women, it's about making them into servants, making them into, servants of the society. It's like, be nice, be obedient, say the right thing, apologize, say please. You know how we train the girls, say please. Boys is like, it doesn't matter, right? And what about your soul? What about who you are? What about what you want to do? Because guess what? You can spend 2-3 decades doing that. And I'm not saying it's not appropriate in some situations or in some contexts. It is. For example, if you have children, then you should be serving them because that's your job. But in order to do that, you need to be strong and grounded because your nervous system is setting a baseline for their nervous system. The same way your mother set up your nervous system. So if everything is okay in your life, but you think, why am I anxious? Your nervous system has learned to constantly scan the environment because you don't know safety. If you don't know what safety is, if you don't know what parasympathetic response is, so there are 2 choices in the nervous system. It's a green state. And that's a state where it's called rest, digest, regenerate, flow, safe, social, where amygdala is not activated. Your prefrontal cortex is works. Like this is basically where children should be and are, most of them. It's a state of curiosity, creativity, being in the present moment. So your nervous system has it. That's your default state, people. That is your default state. In this state, you're creative, you're playful, you are joyous, you're hopeful. In this state, you feel like yourself, You don't overthink, you don't preempty, you don't overanalyze. This is, a brain is working optimally. You're being basically authentic self. So way before the shit happens, way before you started playing in different circuits and becoming an actor or an actress in those other people's films, where you could be yourself. Do you remember that? That's the default state. You know, remember, like, remind yourself. How were you when you were 16, 14, 9, 8, before the world told you who you are? So that it's in your nervous system, it's encoded in your nervous system. When you have peace, clarity. But if you spend, no, that's parasympathetic, sorry. I wanted to talk about the stress response, but I started talking about the flow state. Parasympathetic. Right? So the body is either safe or not safe. Can relax or cannot relax. And it depends on the environment. So if you can't be there, if your body goes, and if your body reads your environment all the time, if you can't be here, then you go into sympathetic response. So in other words, stress response. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and hide. Yeah, this is where you can joke, right? So, joy, humor, playfulness. This is where you're rooted in your soul, and you just like in authenticity, like, hey, right? Let's go with the flow. You know that saying? Like, no one fucking goes with the flow anymore, because we like literally pushing and forcing and constantly thinking outcome, hustle, you know, results. And this is where we are. We're exhausted because it's very taxing on the nervous system, because we end up being human doings and human havings instead of human beings. And if your tendency and conditioning is fawn, you are adding another layer, right? You are adding another layer. So you're not going to create, first of all, if you want to have a relationship, you're going to be taken advantage of, because fawn response is placing your awareness outside of yourself. So you constantly think what other people are thinking about you, not what you think about yourself. So your intuition, you basically, that's why you pray for narcissistic people, because, and men too, because you can be very easily manipulated, because you believe how people are, which is, you're not equipped, but maybe that was your mother, but you're not equipped to enter real life, where you should be looking at people individually, and you're like, what is their true intention? Is it what you shouldn't be actually fucking paying attention to what people say. You should be paying attention to what people do. So before you get into bed with someone, you should actually test them. Like, you know, put them in a situation where they don't get their way. Put them in a situation where, you know, it's boring. Because it's very nice to go to a restaurant. That thing about dating in restaurants, it's ridiculous. No, you should be doing something together that would expose your true character. But people pleasers are not going to do that, because people pleasers don't make any decisions for themselves. People pleasers don't go, this is what I want. People pleasers go, yeah, of course. They just nod along. They constantly listen, and they constantly thinking, what do I say and how how do I need to be in order to belong to this relationship? And narcissists themselves will tell you that. They're the easiest people to manipulate, right? Funny. Exactly. Speechless. You see, being a little selfish. This is the conditioning. This is the conditioning because selfish has negative connotations. It shouldn't. When you go on a plane and they give you instructions, they always tell you you should put your mask first before you put it on your child. This is how we should approach ourselves. Your needs first, and then you can serve others. So it's not selfish to be, it's actually, how can you be in the service of others, of your children, if you're exhausted? Explain it to me. Right? I'm not being personal here, but that's the distortion in the society. That's the distortion. I need to be a little bit selfish. No, you need to be self-serving first to be serving others. So we need a bit more nuance when it comes to this thing. And your nervous system is not interested in having, because everything is transactional. So when you're working for others and when you're serving others, what do you get in return? Right? Nothing. There is no medal. So the new program I have, Return to Simplicity, it's all about, for 11 days, you listen to a nervous system truth for 20 minutes, a little lecture, a little lesson, to end self-betrayal, self-sabotage and self-neglect. And then you get 25-minute activation, which is what I've been doing for years now. So I've shared my process. I wrote this. Activation of the higher self, of the next version of you that you are walking towards. So it gives you a sense of forward movement. So if you're interested, so there's no cognitive load. This is for people who are absolutely fucking exhausted and fed up. Right? And it has no involvement on my part. So that's not the coaching, that's not, because as I said, I've been doing this for long enough. So I know that I need to meet people where they are. And this is me. This is no effort. 11 effortless shifts for your nervous system to start exhaling, to start actually grounding and anchoring without thinking, right? So it's the consciousness shifts. DM me Return if you're interested. So this is why the body is exhausted. So you're not only processing, this is what people do, this is what people pleasers do. They take everyone else's emotions. Your nervous system takes all the pain, the suffering, the victimhood. You feel sorry for everyone. You're like, oh my God, they're so, I need to be kind, right? While no one is being kind to you. No one is asking you how you're doing. And when they do, what do you say? I'm fine. No, I'm coping. And this is why I love menopause or perimenopause, because it's check time. This is when your body, the more you neglect yourself, the more vicious your menopause will be and your perimenopause. If you, not only, when you regulate and when you work on your nervous system and you start realizing that everything is an illusion and you've been not really rooted in your soul and who you truly are and now you want to be, it's freedom, it's pleasure. You can really enjoy yourself and your experience and being in love with life. So that's very healing in itself. Your body will thank you. In less pain, less frustration. Because emotionally, when you suppress your true self, for the good of others and to keep the peace. That's the classic people pleaser thing, isn't it? That's the classic people pleaser thing. So it's time. So that's why, it's time. And people pleasers don't usually take care of themselves unless they have to. So the prioritizing is the issue. And if you have children, this is what you show them. This is what it looks like, etc. So start being an observer of the programming that you're running. Because the reality in which that programming existed or was created is no longer relevant. It's only in your head. It's not going to keep you exhausted and sick, physically, mentally, emotionally, but you will be deprived of joy. You will be deprived of pleasure. Your body will not give you pleasure if it's in pain, for God's sakes. Right? You won't be able to enjoy real pleasure. I'm not talking about chocolate cake. I'm talking about real pleasure. Right? So female body is extremely capable of things that any man would kill himself for. So if you don't, you need to start taking care of your body and repair the relationship with your body. Because otherwise you will be anxious. You will be depressed. You will be going mad. And not only that, but also your higher calling. What is your purpose? Why are you here, for God's sakes? What have you got to create? And your soul is extremely creative. You're extremely creative. Your body is a portal to life. And what are you doing? Making fucking sandwiches to 20-year-olds. So, and, asking what other people want to eat instead of asking yourself. Sometimes I go to a client, what's your favorite breakfast? I don't know, I don't have time for breakfast. Right. What do you like doing? I don't know, I just do things with the kids. What about expression? What about creativity? What about dancing? What about singing? Right? So this is the deepest regulation of the nervous system. This is all very relatable, even being a man. So, of course, I am talking about women, but I know a lot of men who are people pleasers, and I've worked with a lot of men who are people pleasers, yes. People pleasing is that tendency, you somehow afraid of expressing your authentic truth because it's a fear of the core wounding here is either a mother wound for women or a father wound for men. That's the core wound, which you don't have to think about, just so you know. But it's basically, this is how you've learned to make a connection so you're not rejected. And it's almost like it keeps you away from you looking at yourself and the shame, what you went through, and the trauma and the pain of shame, the pain of guilt, the pain of helplessness as being a child. So I want you to think about this people pleasing as a strategy that your nervous system has chosen to protect you, because it did. Nothing that happens in your consciousness happens for no reason or randomly. Right? So this is all good news. Abandonment, yeah. Right? Abandoned. Yeah, you don't want to be abandoned. Thank you, Dee. You don't want to be abandoned. So you're just going to be like, what do I do not to be abandoned? Let me guess what you want. Oh, yeah, of course I'm going to say this. Oh, what time? Of course I'm going to be there. You've planned to rest. You've planned to take a bath. But you're going to be there. So you collapse. And then you become codependent on others for thinking, feeling This is my issue with my other half. What do you fucking mean you have a half? No, you're whole and complete. Right? What do you mean I need to ask my husband? What do you mean I need to ask my wife? You're an independent being. So if you make yourself codependent on others, what are you going to do when they're not there? You're going to not exist? Or you're going to, like what? Right? That's the codependency. It creates so many issues. And very often, it then creates you enabling the narcissist, because this is all about putting other people on the pedestal. This is all about external locus of evaluation and control. So you should be your own point of reference. If you're a people pleaser, and this is how you earn your worthiness and your love, you are placing the point of reference not in your heart, not in your mind, not in yourself, but in others. God help you. Only God can help you with that situation. Because I don't know a single fucking case when that worked out. And the nervous system of people pleasers, it's a very specific nervous system. It's a very specific conditioning. It's confused. It feels empty. These are the people who don't know how to function without someone. And, you know, later on when their partner dies, they completely fucking collapse. Or when they divorce, or when a friend that they put on the pedestal, because it's like literally like, it's like you have an altar. Other people are more knowledgeable, they have more authority than you have over yourself and more control over you. So it doesn't matter that you decided not to drink, you're going to go out and drink. You decided that you're going to look after yourself, but they say, oh, let's go for a beer. So you're going to act out from that pattern that you have. So these are the self-abandonment issues. These are the little acts of self-betrayal. No, you promised it, but you forgot, because guess what? It gives you a sense of belonging, and you're not being rejected. You confuse it for love. You confuse it of they like me. I'm important to them. You're not. People who want you to please them, they're damaged people and they're using you. People who want you to apologize to them and be available 100% of the time, they're not your people. A partner who wants you, who is gaslighting you, rejects your reality, questions your emotions and your reality, and doesn't listen to what you've got to say, but they think they know better what you should be thinking or feeling, is not love and is not a partner. So that's the fogginess. And then, you know, that's your family. That's the nervous system. That's the society. And where is that, I'm asking? Because that, if you're not achieving that, this is why people, if you're not spending time understanding that, expressing yourself, finding yourself, defining yourself, exploring yourself, then these are the people who are 50-year-olds and they don't have a sense of self. They basically, this is why there's a phenomenon in the psyche where 50, 60-year-olds women, they become infantile. They become like girls. And they become helpless. They collapse. They collapse. Nervous system, and they become more anxious. With age, not stronger, not wiser, but just like they shrink. They literally shrink because they haven't been living their life. So hopefully you're not there yet. You wouldn't be listening if you were. So if you want to start preventing this thing, engage with my teachings, engage with my program, If you're completely exhausted, that's the next stage. If you want to work with me, Mechanics of Mental Health, and 4 sessions with me, and access to my main teachings, 10 hours of teachings for life. But if that's too much for you or whatever, and you want to start slow, that's definitely the next stage. Tiny shifts every day, 20-minute lesson, plus activation of the higher self that I have recorded and I have written by hand. AI didn't have a say, obviously. I used it later, but I wrote it by hand. So it comes from the heart, and I shared my process.